Edwards off the lane. Puts it back down to Edwards. They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won. Right now, and they take a downfield shot. And the catch is made. It's Riley Williams. 2-3. Touchdown.
All right, everybody, welcome into another edition of the Gridiron Uncensored podcast. As you can see, Miami fans, you're on deck, you're on the clock. It's time for season previews, and we've been rolling through the ACC. We're at the top now. And really, I've come to see, looking into the 2025 season, about 6-7 of these ACC teams, I think, could all push for, the ACC conference game or championship game, excuse me. Pretty solid conference. I had a discussion on there. Somebody said it was the second deepest conference. And I don't know if they're there yet because, I mean, obviously there's, the Big Ten, the SEC, what they did, bringing in all the teams out west, and then the SEC bringing in Texas and Oklahoma. But the ACC is still a really good conference. The top teams, all these ones that we've been previewing, looking good. And we'll talk about that here soon. Miami, again, you're up. Returning production is looking nice for this year. 57%. Offense was on around 52%, and then defense in the 62% range. So a lot to like for this Miami squad. But first, I always kind of like to look back real quick before we move forward for anybody that isn't a Miami fan that's watching. If you didn't pay attention last year, really good team. Cam Ward came in from Wazoo, and the offense went off. I mean, number one offense in the country. But they just could not get it done at the key moments. Georgia Tech, you take a loss there, and then the loss to Syracuse really knocks you out of the playoff. And then, of course, we all know what happened with the Iowa State game. It's a loss. It doesn't matter if he sat out, whatever. It's a loss. It counts. I tell the same shit to Florida State fans that were mad about what happened after they got left out of the playoffs. And I know you guys will probably laugh, at their demise, but just saying, it still counts. All right, moving on. So 24, great year. I know you guys wanted a lot more. I know you did. I know it stings, but you still can build off what you had. And Mario's looking to have really a playoff or bust type year again, because you guys went all out in the portal, killed the class. And you got a lot to work for. So let's look at it again. S&P Plus, you got, and all this from Bill Conley, 12th in the nation is what the advanced stats have you as. From recruiting, which you guys have been doing great in recruiting, all these other little statistics that come in, and they'll get pushed out as the season goes along if you don't know what S&P Plus is. So it's going to be a good year for Miami. I really think it is. And let's talk about why. You have continuity in the coaching staff on the offensive side of the ball, but on the defensive side of the ball, you went out and really changed it up. Even last year, 27th defense in the country in total defense. But when you look at the big ones that you lost, I mean, you gave up 42 to Syracuse, 42 to Iowa State, and even lost 28 to Georgia Tech. And those are all games that you guys really should have won with the talent that you had in the roster and the offensive production you were putting out. So you go out and you change the coordinator, you bring in some guys on defense to help out. And I think the additions are nice. Heatherman, I mean, the 5th defense in the country at Minnesota. And you take what he does there in that scheme and the 4-2-5 style, and you bring it into Miami with the talent that you guys have, immediately gets my ears perked up, gets me rolling. I just like what that guy does. He's a good coach. And the Big Ten's no slouch. And people still say, oh, the Big Ten is Minnesota, whatever. Does not matter. That is a good conference. They fight hard every week. And there's a lot of tough offenses that you got to play. Not just, passing happy and all that stuff, but the ability that they have to ground and pound and to wear you down with the big bodies. So I like that hire for Miami. Now, portal class, mentioned it. 3rd in the country. Really impressive class. 72 overall score. and just behind LSU, Texas Tech, just in front of Ole Miss. But now you guys got to do something with it. You cannot be left out of the playoffs again because, I don't give a shit or not, but they're going to flame you for it. They flamed Ole Miss for it for missing last year after they went full out. They flamed Florida State too, and that's another one. I mean, I know you guys took a part of that. I've seen it on Twitter. But when you look at the portal class, 19 in, 21 out. So it's a solid class, solid size, matched the departures pretty well. But it's really, who you're bringing in, and it's a lot of weapons. You're replacing so many weapons, but I like what you guys are bringing in. And then you're bringing in a lot of defensive talent. This is a really good class to plug in with the recruiting that you guys have had. Again, why I think this Miami team is finally going to do it. That this to me is a year that if I'm going to bet on, I know you don't have Cam Ward, you bring in Carson Beck. People have their questions about him. I mean, as do I from last season. But just everything that you guys have, I think it'll be fine. So let's look at it. Some key guys in. You got Scott, Keelan Marion, Lucas, Brantley, Daniels coming over from LSU. Those are good names right there. Those are guys that are going to produce. And then, you did lose. I'm not saying you didn't. You lost some good talent too. Okay. Horton on the defensive line, Zion Nelson, guys like that are going to go in and be starters. It's tough to lose depth like that. But again, you lose 21, you bring in 19, you kind of replace that depth. And the guys you lost, some of them went to big schools and in conference, opponents. Like I mentioned, Zion Nelson going to SMU. But the other one, I mean, you're losing guys, to UCLA, Coastal Carolina, FIU, more depth pieces, right? Let's talk this offense. We mentioned the portal, but how are they going to fit in? And we know Carson Beck is the main guy. That's your guy coming in. And you're hoping that he can kind of get back to the 2023 version of himself and not throw as many picks as he did last season. But I think some of that, Georgia felt off to me too. Just the team in general, the coaching staff. That's still obviously an elite program with the talent that they have, but it just felt off. And then he seemed like he was forcing things. A lot of passes were dropped if you watched Georgia last year. So you bring Carson Beck in. Maybe the distractions are gone from some of the off-season bullshit that was happening with his name being tossed around and these chicks, whatever. I think that's all done. So you get rid of any distractions, focus on football. This is a huge year for him. He knows it. It's time to lead. It's time to lead this offense. Time to lead this team to the playoffs. So he's got weapons. Again, we mentioned guys coming in from the portal. You lost majority of your weapons from last season. So who are we throwing to? Who are we working with? All right. So you're looking at guys like I mentioned, CJ Daniels. That's a fantastic weapon. Even Alex Bauman coming over from Tulane. I think that's a nice grab. He's 6'5". Running back Shamar Brown. That's a depth type guy. I think he can do some work. It was North Dakota State. Listen, those teams are good. So that's somebody that can get into the rotation at least. Keelan Marion, that guy, he did a great year at BYU. So I mean, you're looking. You've got guys, Tony Johnson even coming over from Cincinnati. So you have people that are going to be able to produce immediately, jump into this rotation, and provide. We mentioned running back. Guy coming over from North Dakota State. Well, you lose Martinez at running back, but you need these guys to step up who's been there. But if they can't, bring in somebody else, push the envelope. Let's see if we can sharpen iron with iron. So then you look. So that's the offensive weapons, offensive line. It's going to be nasty. I last year really solid offensive line, and they bring back almost all the starters, and then you brought in a couple guys up front. Really Brockmeyer coming over from TCU is the main one that I'm seeing. Yeah, sorry, I got my brain messed up. It was just the one guy coming over from TCU. But still, I mean, that's somebody that you can plug in, and you've been recruiting well. It's not like you need to go out and get 7 offensive linemen in the portal. So I think this offensive line is going to do what it needs to do. You have weapons on the outside. all you need Carson Beck to really do is just be a manager. And I know people hate that phrase, but I'm a fan of game managers myself. I'd rather have a game manager. I want somebody that's going to move the ball effectively, not put it in harm's way, not try to go out and be a hero. Now, you got to make the plays when you got to make the plays. Not saying that, but you need to just move the freaking ball and control the clock, be smart on penalties, and really just guide the offense, guide it along nicely. So with the weapons that they have, with the offensive line that you have, there's every possibility. You just need Carson Beck to chill out on the picks. You mentioned game manager. You need him to do that. Last year, threw too many, but I think he was just trying to be a hero, trying to save, the offense. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, halfback, to me, that's not going to be an issue. I know you lost talent there, but you got Fletcher. You got the guy coming in from North Dakota State. Lyle's also there. There's bodies that are going to produce. You just got to follow that big old line, and you're good to go. Now, let's talk defense. Because, again, we mentioned the staff changes. The continuity on the offensive side of the ball. It's not going to be the number one offense in the league. I don't think. I can't see that happening again. But it's still going to be a good offense. It's going to move. It's going to chew clock. You need to run the ball and stop these guys from scoring so goddamn much. And that's why we're talking about the defense now and going out and changing all these positions, all these coaches. And then you bring in, like we mentioned, Heatherman earlier. So with the staff changes, bringing in Heatherman, the new system, and all the talent that you already have, I think this defense is going to really step up. You got the edge, has massive strength with Messidor and Bain. Those guys are beasts. You got good size on the inside. You got Blay, Moten. Those are nice, really nice pieces to have in the middle. Linebacker, you've got good organic depth, guys that you've recruited that have been on the team that have had reps. And then you go into the portal, and I mean, you go out and get what's his name? Where's he at? There he is. Kamal Bonner coming over from NC State. Tor coming over from Rutgers. So guys that are playing in, similar conference, and then linebacker from the Big Ten. That's something you always want to look for. Those are key pieces. So you add in that type of depth, which you already had good depth there. And then you have defensive back, which has just dudes. Frederique, Lucas. You bring in Poyser, a couple other guys from the portal. Cornerbacks, Charles Brantley, coming in from Michigan State. I mean, you've got guys all over this squad. Even Thomas, Jacoby Thomas coming in from Tennessee. This team has so much potential. I want to see if Mario Cristobal can get them there. He's obviously he knows how everybody's feeling. Hey man, we're right on the cusp, but we can't get it done. That's not enough. That's not good enough. So he knows that, changed up some staff, brought in key guys across the defense, key weapons on the offense. You guys let me know. What do you think? I'm looking at it. The over-under is 8.5. So let's look at the schedule. Let's pull this up and see what what Miami's dealing with here. Let me get on your screen too. All right. And this is kind of where you start off strong. You got Notre Dame and then Florida a couple weeks later. Don't overlook USF either. That's going to be a really nice group of 5 team. People think that this Notre Dame team is going to come in and just be what they were last year at the end of the season, a team that made a push for the national title. And we've already, recorded an episode on them. If you want to go check it out, please do. It's on YouTube, all that, all the podcast platforms. And we had an interview with a guy, another podcaster that's, huge Notre Dame fan, but he's realistic about it. And he's like, hey, listen, this team's loaded with talent as well. They got everything going for them, but it's a young quarterback, brand new guy coming in. That's tough. That's a tough first game for a young quarterback. So if you get a defense that was only 27th last year, but then you plus them up with new coaching staff and all these key guys, and you let the edges go to town on them. Now they're going to have a good offensive line. There's no doubt, but you switch it up. You get this defense flying down at him, make him uncomfortable. Okay, I'm going to see problems for this Notre Dame team in week 1. And not only for Notre Dame, playing you guys in week 1, they got Texas A&M right after. So, I mean, that's you're catching Notre Dame in a really good spot. You get Bethune after that, and then USF. So give me 3-0 right there. Florida, that's going to be a tough one. I think that Florida team is really nice. That's a solid team. But you get them right before a bye week. We'll chalk that up as a toss-up. We know, last year you got them. I don't know. We'll see what happens this season. And then Florida State, kind of that intermediate with the bye weeks on both sides. I mean, that gives you plenty of time to focus on them. But that's another team that you just got to wait and see what they are. Does Castellanos really step up and figure it out this year? Obviously he won't have the problems like he did at Boston College, but we'll see. And then you play a really good Louisville team. That team is going to be hungry. Stanford, there's too much flux there. You can't let them sneak up on you, but I mean, that's a win. SMU is going to be another strong team. Syracuse, I think they're going through too much of a rebuild in this season. We covered them as well. Most of these teams we already have. The only one we haven't hit yet is SMU and Clemson. So if you guys want to go check out what we think about these other programs, please check it out on our YouTube. We'd appreciate it. NC State, that's a dub. Virginia, dub. And then Pitt. There's a lot of wins on the schedule, but you cannot slip up like you did last year. You cannot do it. So, I mean, two losses probably get you into the playoff, but you're going to be right on that cusp because, I mean, the playoff committee is going to give more leeway to the SEC and the Big Ten. It's just how it is until the ACC proves it again. So that's my thoughts on it. Over under is 8.5. I think you go over for sure. I mean, really, circle the Florida game, Notre Dame, 1-2, Louisville, SMU. 4 games right there, maybe 5 with Florida State if they figure their shit out, but I don't know if they will. I think you guys get Notre Dame early, so 10 wins, 11 wins should absolutely happen. But you guys, let me know what you're seeing on it. I want to believe in Mario, but right now it's kind of hard to do that from the outside looking in. You guys, again, tell me what you think about this coaching staff. All that. We're outside. We do all these programs. We see all these different teams, and it's easier when you're fully vetted on this one program to tell us, kind of what your expectations are and if we're off base on something. And we appreciate all your comments, truly. So I appreciate your time. Hope you guys have a great day, and hopefully Miami can get to the playoff this year. I think it'd be exciting. Y'all have a good one.